Alright, so today I'm going to show you my window problem I have in the wintertime, and what I'm going to change over to this to see if that helps. Alright, so this is a window I have had constant problems with, even though I took the old window out, which was even worse. I put a new window in. On my other windows, I've actually been able to use that winter plastic stuff to keep the moisture from getting out. This one here has just been a huge problem. So as you can see, let me get a little bit closer here. The moisture builds up around all of this every single day. So what I have been doing is just sort of wiping it down, using a lot of paper towels. I know there's reasons for this. I'm not an expert. I know it has to do with moisture and temperature differential inside or outside. This is actually frozen right now because it's so cold. So what I've been doing in the meantime is I have some lights, a fan, and I've had this set up on a timer, so 2 or 3 times in the day this will come on. It will create just a little bit of a warm air, a small flow to keep this dry, because the last thing I want to have a problem with, which I did 1 year before, was moisture when I forgot about it, and of course mold and mildew builds up. So let me show you what normally happens several times a day here. This is the timer that I got, which, you know, it works excellent, works really good, has a good set of plugins, several programs, but I'd like to try and eliminate as many plug-in things. So I'm going to show you what happens when all this comes on automatically. I'm just going to do it manually here, plug this back in. So when the timer activates, usually I will have these curtains down just to try and keep some of the warm from the lights circulating in here. It normally doesn't get quite as this bad most of the time, but it's been unusually cold for the past couple days, so I knew I was going to get more. I'm going to let this clear out. I will let you know how long this runs for in order to clear that out. Because what I'm going to do after is I'm going to put this Eva Dry here instead and replace these to see how much it will reduce this. Now the nice thing about this is it does not require any power to run. What you doing? What you doing? It does not require any power to run. You can see there is a wet and a dry indicator. You look on the front. Now when this has fully absorbed the moisture that is in the air, that will turn that darker color like a dark blue. Now you do have to plug it in, and what that will do is it will dry the crystals outside, because this is reusable, which is very, very handy to have. I'm eventually going to try this in my closets. I think I have one closet I've had a problem where I have like store comics. And I have been using, you've probably seen these, damp red works really great as well. The little pellets absorb water, turn to liquid, you dump it out and refill it. But I wanted to try this in particular because this will be going in my bus that I'm converting to an RV. And my concern about the damp red, and I'm sure I could make something so that it wouldn't fall over, is that, if I didn't secure it enough, I hit, a bumpy road, I don't know how much of the liquid, if any, will come out. The other reason that I will be using this in the RV is that if it's ever really cold, and I'm using, you've probably seen other reviews of the Wave 3 or Mr. Buddy heaters, they do produce moisture. So right now I am not going to put this in the window. I am going to let this run And let me see, the time is now, let's see what time it is. Alright, it is 8:06. So I'm going to see how long it takes for it normally to clear this window out. The timer that I had set up, I would run it 2 or 3 times a day, not all at once. Alright, so it took about an hour for the fan to do its work to clear this window here. So the next part is to take the Eva Dry and I'm just going to place it in the window here. See if I can get this cord out of the way. And I'm just going to leave these things here for now. And I want to see what difference this will make. Now, will it absorb 100% of the moisture on the window? I don't know, because there's quite a bit in here. But if it absorbs at least some, that will definitely be some progress. The big reason I'm getting this again is, I don't know if you can see, but that is the bus I'm converting. Hopefully at this point I've already have some videos posted. And again, because I'll be using either a Mr. Buddy or a Wave 3 propane heater, since they do tend to put moisture in a vehicle, this should help with that. So I will add to this update, check on this a few times during the week and see what happens. Hey everyone, alright, so update, next part of this for the Eva Dry that I talked about. This is my half bath, which you can see right in here. And the problem I've been having with this window here, you're about to see an elaborate setup to keep the moisture down, is moisture. And what I was doing, and yes, this is going to seem crazy, it was so bad that I hooked all this up on a timer that would come on 2 to 3 times a day, because in behind here, this would fill up with moisture on almost a daily basis up quite high. So I had this for just some warmth, and the fan would come on and keep this dry out, because the problem I was having every year was black mold, which is, bad for me, bad for these guys. Yeah, this is Mr. Camera Hog here. And so I picked up an Eva Dry. Now, as you can see on the front, the indicator is dry, wet, of which, is pretty straightforward. I would say it's been about a month. I forgot to write down the exact date, and the beads have turned green. So the next step, I probably should mention, it did a really good job keeping the moisture down in the window and getting rid of it even when it was present. I checked a couple times in the past month, and where I would normally have a lot of moisture on here, there was only one day there was very little. I have not had any of this on. So what I did, I just let the Eva Dry do its job. So the next step now is to plug this in, and so that the beads will dry out and it'll be ready to use again. So I'm just going to take this, and on the back, I'm going to tip this up. Yes, I'm doing this one-handed. And I'm just going to plug it in. So what this will do now is warm these up to dry these out. Alright, for the final conclusion to my Eva Dry video, if I didn't mention it before, I put this curtain up because I thought maybe that would keep some moisture out from this particular bathroom because of the window. I guess it's my half bath. Alright, to review, lots of problems with moisture. I already know I had this set up, and I'm going to happily take all this down. This was heat, this was fan, came on with a timer twice a day to get rid of the moisture because my Eva Dry, which I plugged in and it's been at least 24 hours. So it has gone from green back to orange. Plugging in has dried the beads out, so now I can unplug this and I will be placing it back up in the windowsill. Alright, for the last part of the Eva Dry, I'm going to take all this out now and put the Eva Dry back up here. You saw that it's plugged in, nice and warm. Beads are all turned back to orange. What you doing? Alright, so now I not only do I have a unit to keep my moisture down in here, but I also have this really nice cat perch that is Sherlock approved. I hope he enjoys it. And he's probably going to try and jump up on another shelf in here as well. Oh, there he goes.